Hello, folks. Welcome to Pro Trader Strategies. My name is Eric Wilkinson, and this is Spotting the Trade. I'm going to try and get you folks what you need to know before you roll, and that usually starts with talking about the economic data, geopolitical environment, see how all that impacts the overall markets with some market analysis, and then try and round it off with talking about some option strategies we could implement into a portfolio based on those assumptions. So that sounds interesting. You smash that like button, hit the subscribe. Don't forget to click on that little bell because the bell will let you know when I pop in unannounced for some of these videos. All right. So we've got Davos going on right now. So a lot of Fed heads going to be talking here and there, and other corporate heads will also be talking about the economy. That's what we're going to be hearing a lot about is probably Econ 101 for the most part is what it's kind of feeling like right now is the companies will be talking about how the current environment is affecting their business, how the Fed should be reacting, or how these Fed governors, these world leaders should be attacking this economy right now. So we're going to be seeing a lot of that going back and forth, a lot of interviews, and we do get economic data this week. You talked about the PMI yesterday. Today, we're getting across the pond the manufacturing PMI and services PMI numbers for the flash estimates. Those are the most important numbers to look at for overseas. And for the European French, remember France, Germany, major manufacturing sectors of the European region. We've been talking about thinking these numbers were going to be coming off. They are off a little bit, but folks say they didn't miss too bad. So let's get on with it. We got the French flash services PMI coming in at 54.5, expected to be 55.3. We got the that was the manufacturing 54.5, expected to be 55.3. The services for France was 58, expected to be 58, right in line there. The German flash manufacturing number coming in a little bit even better than expected. We were expecting Germany to really start coming off a little bit. Remember, because with Russia kind of taking over in Ukraine, it's really going to affect Germany's business because they are a major supplier to Russia. And if they can't really, then that should hurt them. It's not, folks. They're still doing pretty good. 54.7, like I said, expected to be 54.1. Anything above 50 is expansion or expansion in the economy. That's better. If we start going below 50, that's when we start seeing contraction. That's recessionary. So not really coming in too soft here. I thought we might get a couple of these numbers missing a little bit and getting a 49 handle, but that's not the case so far. We got the broader European region outside of Germany and France. Manufacturing PMI came in at 54.4, just missed by 0.4%. And the service sector came in at 56.3, missed by 1% there. And Great Britain coming in at 54.6, right in line with expectations. Their services missed quite a bit there on the Great Britain's services manufacturing number, Purchasing Managers Index, coming in at 51.8, expected to be 56.9. So a big miss there, though they did revise last month's number up only 0.6%, but staying above 50 across those board on all of those economic data points. Then we're going to be getting our flash PMI numbers later on this afternoon. Remember, that number is superseded by our ISM, the Institute for Supply Management. Not bad to take a look at this because it gives you a pretty good gauge, but the number we're really going to be moving markets on is the Institute for Supply Management, or the ISM. Powell's going to be speaking later on today. We also get Richmond Manufacturing Index. We've been seeing the PMI numbers better. Manufacturing's been kind of weak, really, to be quite honest, especially with some of these Richmond Manufacturing, the Empire Manufacturing, Philly Fed. Those numbers were coming in a little bit lighter than expected. So I'm kind of expecting to see this number come in a little bit weaker as well, despite the fact that we're seeing pretty decent PMI numbers there. All right, so let's get on with the overall markets, get on with this. We've got crude oil, just slightly in negative territory, but holding on to 110 right now and holding on to that 100 handle, which I was hoping to see we would kind of slide a little bit. One thing we're just not seeing is infrastructure or supply coming out of the oil sector. Remember, we're not making any new wells anywhere. So that's really kind of exacerbated by the strength in what we're seeing from the retail sector. You and I going to work, driving, spending money there. That money is not being spent elsewhere in the economy, but This is really going to be something that is overhanging for this economy. Is when people are spending $70 to fill up their gas tank, folks, that means probably $40 is not being spent in the economy elsewhere. That's why we're seeing names like Costco. If we're going into a recession, you'd think names like Costco, Walmart would do very well, but they're not going to. Why? Because $30 spent at Walmart buys a lot of groceries, buys a lot of ancillaries rather than going into a gas tank and burning it out. So bonds, any type of selling covered calls is what we're looking for there. Gold futures, I think we're going to finally start to see gold start to make some moves to the upside back and test that 1923 area. I think that we're going to get back there and start sustaining that 19 handle. I think the 18s are going to be short-lived here. We're going to be starting to move to the upside, especially as we start seeing some inflationary aspects there. I think we're going to still see gold move. With that said, Bitcoin right below 30 is really kind of a problem for most folks. It's looking like pretty weak. I think that we're thinking that we would see some strength here with the flight to safety, but it doesn't feel like that's what's happening here. And with that said, I don't think that if you're looking at Bitcoin as a safe haven asset, that would be the time to be investing now, not as a speculative. VIX trying to make some moves to the upside with the equities moving higher. That's a little concerning, but we do have confirmations across the board on these bottoming patterns from Friday to today. I am not biting on 1 days of confirmation today because we haven't broken the pattern of lower highs, lower lows. That's been indicative of a bearish trend. As a matter of fact, we're probably 20% off the high. Everybody's going to start calling for a bear trend. Is that the time to turn around, turn those hands around when everybody else is calling for it? I think it's pretty close, folks. When we start pulling back into a 3-year chart, it gets me a little worried because of all the forward multiples on most of these names. So we do have quite a bit to pull back to get back to pre-pandemic levels, if you will. So while I'm believing we're in a better place than we were pre-pandemic, the forward guidance on some of this stuff could be looking like we are going to have a longer road to hoe than just going through a pandemic, meaning that if we have inflation and a recession, that's stagflation, and that's very difficult to dig out of. Then where do we put the pricing on forward multiples for some of these names? It makes it a little bit more difficult there. But we can take a look at Costco here on the 3-year chart and bringing it all the way back to pre-pandemic levels, or 2019, 2020, when the economy was doing pretty good. You can see that Costco has done really well since then, almost doubled through that time. So the multiples based on a very strong economy, are we going to see that right now? So names like Costco make me a little bit nervous that they're starting to slide still, with the thought of a recession being there. Costco has been a staple for most people as of recently, and I think that Costco is going to hold on to some value here, and I would think that Walmart would as well. So those are names that I'm looking to add by selling some puts, and we're talking about that in the webinars that we're doing this week. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a couple of them, so please go to Pro Trader Strategies, sign up for those, check those out. We are doing our webinar series on cracking the code to trading options, and I'm also doing a guest spot, so check that out. Sign up. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell. Can't take that. Take it easy. Bye for now.